What's up and welcome to another video, guys. Now today is something special. Recently I just moved into this new place. I still haven't bought all the furniture, so cut me some slack if it doesn't look finished. But a couple of days ago I got this bad boy here. I got this Core P5 version 2 from Thermaltake. So what we're gonna do today is open this out, check out what's in it, and also assemble a case, assemble the system, because from what I see, it's not fully assembled within the package. So once we got it assembled, as we promised last time on the last video, we're gonna build a full system with that coming up in the next video. So let's get this opened and assembled, and then we'll do a full build video afterward. Okay, so now keep in mind, there are a lot of tempered glass inside, so you want to be careful while handling this. You don't want to drop it or throw it around. So let me quickly adjust the camera, move you guys a little bit closer so you can see the action adds up. Alright, so here's the box. And okay, so next we cut it open. So one thing really cool about this case is on the version 2 you have a adjustable motherboard tray, so you can flip it around, have it in the traditional layout, or you can also flip it up or on another angle that you prefer. So that is something really nice. So when you unbox it first, what you get is the motherboard tray. Take the motherboard tray off. I'll just put it on the sofa. And then there's the tempered glass. It's pretty well packed and covered with another foam. So you gotta cut off this tape on either side, on all four sides actually. Okay, and there you go with the side panel. Pretty thick tempered glass. It's about 5 millimeters. So that's all good. Let me set that aside as well. And then I assume it's going to be the case itself. Just take off this full form outside. And there you go. The main frame part. Quite heavy, but pretty well packed. There you go. So once I take this out, it's pretty easy to do the rest. But I assume the other assembly parts, not sure whether you can see it clearly here, assume the other assembly parts are inside the boxes here, so you have to flip it around. Undo these thumb screws. But one cool thing you can see in this area is that these are baser mounts, so you can mount this case on the wall using a standard baser mount, just like your TV. Alright, so that is done. Next is I have no idea, I haven't opened this before, and I have not assembled a Core P5 before, so I don't know how this really works, but I assume I have to slide it. Yes, just like a traditional PC case. side panel, you just have to slide it to the side and then it pops up. Okay, and we have 2 more boxes. This one's pretty heavy. Wonder what's in there. Let's check out that one first. Cut off the tape and bunch of shrouds and adapters for your radiators, the PCI slots and the power supplies and power supplies and other stuff. We're gonna go check these stuff in detail later. I'm surprised I didn't see the user manual yet. Not sure. Okay, so got these stuff in here. I'm just gonna put this all back together here. Not really care too much about how nice it looks. Next box is this one. So here we are with some rubber foot for the, not rubber, sorry, it's plastic and rubber foots for this part and also for the mounting at the bottom, mounting of the tempered glass. The riser cable is included, so that's pretty sweet. You don't have to buy a separate riser cable. Few more plugs for the ends. I have no idea what some of these stuff are, but yeah. And a USB type 3 to USB adapters. Okay, cool. And then I guess this one is the user manual. Gonna have a quick look, see what it says, and then continue building. Okay, so this one is pretty detailed. It pretty much explains you everything on how to build a system, including the warnings for the PCI installation, PCI extension cable, and step-by-step picture reference guide on how to assemble each and every stuff. But I do think if they put this one outside in the first place, that would be nicer for someone who's starting out. So hard drive cages, more hard drive cages, PCI bracket, riser cable, and all sorts of other stuff for the radiators and these things. Okay, so that part is good. Next up, we need to find a few more stuff. Put these stuff aside for now. This is pretty good. I'll let it be here. And going to open back for the bracket and mounting. So in the back, they have put these stuff here, which are the rubber foot, plastic foot, I guess, stand for the chassis. So take that out. These are pretty heavy and solid, made of, feels like metal, feels like, yeah, these are metal. So, no, this is plastic, I think, I'm not really sure. Plastic cover with metal piece and brackets, yes. So, it should be strong enough to hold a pretty hefty, water-cooled system. Take this out as well. And you got the screws in here. got more screws in here as well for these two. So the first thing we're gonna do is just throw it away. Let's get this open as well, so we know these are the mounting brackets for the side panel. Wow, very heavy. Get the blade up. Steel riser screws, screw stands, kind of like this for the side panel. So this goes in the four corners, and that's what's holding the side panel. So pretty much have all the stuff that we need for the build. Let me get rid of these boxes now. Before that, let me first mount the screws to, well, now something that will come really handy is electric screwdriver like this, or something that is bigger like the Bosch ones. But anyway, it's really alright guys, so what happened was while I was assembling this, the camera ran out of storage space. The SD card was full and it stopped, and my monitor here didn't tell me that it was full. So I ran ahead and did a little bit more assembling without knowing that the tape wasn't rolling. Anyway, so I disassembled one piece and left that piece to show you guys how I assembled these two cards. So if you remember, where we stopped off was we had this one, and we were gonna assemble that. So it's very easy, it's not too much work. This one goes in very easily. This one is the stand is a little bit of more screws to deal with, but it's also pretty easy as well. So what I'm gonna do now is get this one aligned, put in one screw inside the stand. Now if your screwdrivers are magnetized, that's very easy to use, and if it's motorized, it's even easier. So yeah, there goes one. And then the other four goes in the four corners. It's very easy, not too hard, and very straightforward. So let me get this done, and then we go on to the spacers for the side panel. One thing you have to keep in mind is once you tighten these with the screwdriver, electric one, you have to hand tighten them again just to make sure that they're tight. Because imagine if this is a fully water-cooled system, that's about 30-40 kilos that are held by just these two stands. So you gotta make sure they're very strong and sturdy. Okay, I'm done with that. Just tighten up these ones as well on this side. Since my screwdriver is not meant for like heavy duty stuff, I had to hand tighten it even more. But if you had something like a Bosch professional electric screwdriver, then I think you're pretty good together with that. Okay, now that's done. Let's move on to the spacer. The spacer goes in on each corner. I have mounted 3 right now, and this is the last one. I want to show you that it goes in this corner, and first what you have to do is unscrew this. put the screw through the hole here, and then to do that you can hand tighten this a little bit to make sure it taps on to the correct thread, and then you can just use this electric screwdriver to tighten it up. And once you do that, again, I take the normal screwdriver and tighten it up. Right, so that part is done. So we can mount a tempered glass onto this without any problems here. You just have to unscrew these little knobs or screws. They're pretty long. But yeah, once you take them out, you can align the side panel and then screw it on. Okay, so that part's done. Let me cover the back panel. As I mentioned last time, you gotta slide it up. You gotta slide it in just like a normal side panel from traditional cases. And then use the thumb screws that were there in the first place to tighten it up. You don't have to fully tighten it right now because once you're doing a build, you're gonna need that. You're gonna have to take it off, so you don't have to fully tighten it up. Now once you have that back panel on, this feels very solid. It doesn't flip around or anything, it's very strong, it's very solid. Anyway, I think next what we're gonna do is mount the spaces, rubber spaces that were here. These ones to the back of this part, just to make sure that it's safe and it doesn't get scratched. Now there are 4 rubber feet and 4 screws. So you're going to use them to just screw on the rubber feet. Now this is meant for when you're using it horizontally. You don't want it to, you can't use these feet or these stand if you're using horizontally. So these are meant for that. But I'm gonna go ahead and install this just to make sure it doesn't scratch the side back panel or damage any of this painting here while we're working on it. And it doesn't really bother me because it looks black and it doesn't get in the way of the design. So we're gonna just go ahead and screw it up. Right. Okay, so now the basic structure is done, but we still need to install the motherboard tray here and then a power supply bracket here. This little scratch. I think I've scratched it while assembling. So that's something you gotta be careful when assembling. You don't want to get this cracked, so make sure it's always on the padding or foam. Make sure it doesn't get scratched. Anyway, so I've done that now, and I'm gonna go ahead, get the motherboard tray, get it ready to install, and then the power supply brackets, and then I'll go through all the other accessories that are available here. You know what, first let's do that. Let's go through the accessories, and while we're at it, we'll keep the stuff that we want to assemble. This one is a pump press combo stand that goes down over here, so you can have your, that goes down over here, so you can have your radiator here and the fan, and then in front of it the pump press combo, so it goes up like that. That's one option you have in this case. What's something really nice is that they've included all the parts that you need to get this running perfectly and to have whatever the setup you want, instead of you having to go buy each and every accessory to have the pump in a different location, or the reservoir in a different location, or the hard drives in a different location. They've included all the accessories that you need for that. Alright, so that's out of the way. These ones. These ones here are hard drive cages. So I believe they can be installed here, or yes, they can be installed here, if I'm not mistaken, for storage spaces. Imagine if your radiator is not very big, then you can install them there. Apart from that, I believe they could be installed somewhere here if you go ahead with a little trouble to find the correct mounting hole. But otherwise, it's in standard, meant to be installed in this, right on top of this. Right, so that one aside. This one is another pump press combo bracket that goes in over here, right here. So it stands tall and it's out of the way from the radiator, unlike the previous one. So I don't need that now either. Just keep it in mind that we will use it for the next full system build. You got the PCI brackets. Yes, we are going to use this for this build. This assembly part. Power supply bracket. We're going to use that as well. There you go. Power supply bracket. Easy to notice, and also if you take a look at the manual, you can easily find which part goes where and which screw is for which. So you don't have to worry about it. This one is also for power supply, to prevent the power supply from sagging. So we're going to use that as well. So the power supply bracket goes in here, and then this one goes in here just to hold the power supply. So that's how it works. Okay, that one there. Alright. These are for the PCI riser, so you can have up to two. The included are for up to 2 GPUs, and they have included one riser cable here. So you will have to get yourself an extra riser cable if you want to use another GPU. But these two are included, and if you want to go like 3-way SLI, then you want to get one more. Sorry, NVLink. Yes, sorry, correction. Few thumb screws here, and a lot more thumb screws here. And this handy dandy one is, I believe, is the bracket for the PCI risers. Yes. So this goes in somewhere over here for the PCI brackets. Oh. Yeah, exactly here. You see folks, this line, this marking, it goes in with those screws. That's my bad. Anyway, next up is the motherboard tray. I believe I have it here. Comes with a bunch of more screws for the motherboard itself, but you gotta use thumb screws for mounting. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Alright, I got it. So, you can do your build without this plate. This plate is just to, if you want to make the motherboard stand this way, and the IO ports here, and the riser here, then you can use this. If you don't want to do that, then you can use these pins marked A for ATX, M for MATX, and I for ITX. So you can use these ones to mount the motherboard on, and it's in the traditional angle, traditional layout. So you're going to use this only if you want to mount it this way. Let me grab myself a motherboard. Here I have an old Asus motherboard. Without the bracket, it goes on like so, right here. And this is a eATX, so it covers up these holes to a certain extent. Now that's another thing to keep in mind, so you will have to run your cables through here or cut out another hole here. That's not ideal. But one thing you could do, if you want to mount it this way, then you're going to use this bracket mount it over here, and then you mount the bracket, the whole thing, to here, like so. But keep in mind, I don't recommend you to use the ATX board, although it does support this case without a problem, but you might run into some cable management issues right over here if you use the eATX board with these stuff. So you could still get your cables out from here. There is a little bit of space, so that's not going to be too much of a problem. It's just it's going to be a little bit hard, but anyway, the motherboard goes in like this for our build. We don't want to flick it up, so we're not going to use the motherboard tray. But what we are going to use are the PSU brackets. Right, so I got there. Two thumb screws going right here in these two places, and then one in here. That should be pretty much more than strong enough to mount the GPU. And then goes this little stuff, which are the brackets for PCI cards. You can easily mount them up. Line it up and then tighten the thumb screws. There's a couple more thumb screws I want to use. Alright, so this one's done. Now, you want to keep in mind how many how wide your GPU is, and based on that, you want to install this one. So mine is 2 slots wide, so it should go in these two if I install the bracket here. And if I want to install one more, I'm gonna skip one more slot and then add in the thumb screw. Right. Right, so the last part is installing the side panel onto this. Now, keep in mind that if you're going to install the motherboard facing upwards, like we discussed before, if it's going to be like this, you have to mount these ones onto this plate, not to this plate. So that way your GPUs go that way. But if you're not using this bracket, then these ones go in here. But then if you don't want to have the GPU vertically, you want to install this part straight onto this, and you don't have to install any of this. So this is very modular. That's something that's very nice about this case. It's both very modular and you can design a system exactly the way you want. And you only have to do minimal changes to make it look like how you want. Anyway, so we got the thumb screws off. Last one. Alright. Now we have the tempered glass. You gotta be very careful with the tempered glass. You don't want to cross it and break it. So what we're just gonna do is tuck in the screw for this side and also this side. And then lastly, the other two sides. three of these should align pretty well without a problem, because the chassis itself is pretty solid and that's not gonna run around too much. Lastly, I want to install a few more thumb screws to the back panel to make sure it's tightly in place. Alright, so one more thing that I forgot is these little things go on at the bottom of the brackets of the spaces for the tempered glass, because that's what will hold some of the weight from the tempered glass. So you gotta install that and then it should be pretty much ready. Yep. Alright, so as I said, I haven't installed a P5 before, or the previous version or this new version, so please cut me some slack on missing out these parts. But this is pretty much how it goes in and how you assemble the case. Once you do that, once you have this ready, then you can go on to the build. So thanks a lot for watching this video. It's pretty hot out here and I'm sweating a lot because I had to switch off the aircon to make the audio clear. Anyway, so don't forget to give us a like for this video if you like this build, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this or videos on photography. And that P5 is gonna get a full build on the next video, so stay tuned for that and I will see you in that video. Peace!